All right, so Tim Norman, second in command of the chicken leg, chicken wing, chicken thigh mafia, was the last witness to be called by his defense on the sixth day of his trial, which was today. And so they got him on the stand. They asked him, hey, did you have anything to do with the murder of your nephew, Andre Montgomery, basically? He answered, no, sir. Because, Tim's very respectful. So he likes to show his respect as much as he can. So they kind of went through a couple hours of questioning while he was on the stand. And so while he tried to look dapper in his suit and tie, as if he is just really the man, So didn't seem to work for the judge because they asked a million times, 5, if they could have a mistrial. And the judge said no. Remember back in the day, you would keep asking your mom the same question. I know the judge probably wanted to say, if you ask me that again, okay? But he kept it professional. So, anywho, they kind of went through what happened, on that day, and asking if he orchestrated the murder for hire of his nephew, Andre Montgomery, who was 21 at the time, was also a co-star of Welcome to Sweetie Pie's reality show, which, ran for 9 seasons. So, fast forward, they went through just some questions that were kind of about his character. So with his defense, this was more of a character type thing for him that they wanted to turn it into because the evidence was just so mounted high against Tim. So they wanted to turn it into a character thing just to, show the jurors, hey, this is the kind of gentleman that we are dealing with. This is a family man. He loved his nephew. He wasn't chasing his nephew down to get him up out of here. What he was doing was trying to, take him under his wing and keep him from going 6 feet under and keep him from, going to prison and things like that, because Tim Norman himself experienced some things in prison, He wanted to make sure that no butt pirates got after his family. He wanted to make sure that no harm or danger came to his family. Well, we all know that that's not the Tim we know, okay? We've seen him on TV. We've seen him in the blogs and in the media. So we know that that's not the Tim that we know. I don't know Tim personally, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people really like Tim, okay? So fast forward, they kind of went through some things that Terica Ellis testified to, which was the payment that she received from Tim for luring Andre to his demise. And so Tim kind of insisted that it wasn't strange for him to give her money, that he had always paid her for her deeds and happy endings. And so Norman didn't mind. He said, I've always paid her for coming and, laying down with me. Hey, listen, he would have to pay me too to lay down with him. I think that any woman he comes across, that would be the norm. You will have to pay them because he's nothing really to look at. I can't imagine, somebody willingly wanting to sleep with him, Besides his ex-fiance and I guess his new baby mama. But you never know what happened behind those because relationships, because his oldest son mom was like, she was about the money, okay? So, she probably like, look, now, before I lay down with you, we gonna have to come up with an agreement. So you never know. But he pulled Terica Ellis out of, the dumps and used her as a pawn in his evil plan. Okay. So, and she was charging him more and more every time he hit her up. She like, that's going to be a little bit more. I wonder what it started out as, though. Was it cheap in the beginning? What was it? So, anywho, Tim and Ellis met up on that fateful day of March 14th. They fooled around. She collected her money. He said they made small talk. You know, it was like the norm. Nothing happened. We just went our separate ways. This is what we always done, which was not true. You know, he showed Ellis a picture of Montgomery. Ellis recognized him. And was like, oh, it's a small world. Tim said, yeah, it's a small world. That's my nephew. And then he went into his spiel. Yeah, he broke into my mom's house. He took some cash. He took some information that we needed. Some music recordings because we're trying to get a Grammy. Because Robbie's still writing music about, is her stuff good? Yeah. And then, you know, Tim went through his phase where he wanted to do music. I guess that's kind of what a lot of people that have been incarcerated, they usually turn to is music, but not everybody can rap. Okay. Not everybody can sing. So for him, you know, he need to hang it up. His mother kind of still hanging on, being an original ICAT in 1905. So she's still writing music. She wants to know is her stuff good. And she wanted that music back. Okay. So, you know, he wanted to figure out if Terica could get up on his nephew, you know. And those were some of the questions that they went through today. So what I find crazy is that he actually admitted to knowing all these people involved. But Tim is a narcissist and he's a manipulator. Everyone that he admitted to knowing that was involved, he had to justify how, why, when, where. How did he know this person? Oh, I mentored Travell Hill. And he breaks down in tears on the stand, just going back through his relationship with Travell, which is kind of strange for me because he didn't even show that type of emotion toward his nephew. You know, he mentioned Travell was a troubled kid and he took him under his wing. He wanted to show them that he can do regular stuff, that don't do dumb things, and he can get rich. And he got rich off of selling chicken, and that's why he moved to Hollywood. So he wanted to convince Travell of all these things. But in reality, Tim was just a manipulator. He really was seeking out the weak. And he found Travell. He knew that Travell was weak. And so one of the things he brought up with Travell was money and materialistic things and how he got them and what they mean to him. And so Travell kind of hyped up on that, you know. And that's how he got to Travell to make him a pawn in his scheme of the demise of his nephew, which is a sad thing. You know, he had an excuse of how he knew Terica. Oh, we just kicked covers together. That was it. I paid her for link-ups. You know, our show was a family show. I didn't want anyone to know that me and Terica were cooling it or kicking it, you know. So he kind of justifies everyone in the circle that he knew, even the person that knew Travell himself, his friend. You know, oh, that's my friend. We grew up together. We're homeboys. He justifies everyone that he knows in this situation and how he knows them and why they were a part of his life and how they didn't have anything to do with his relationship with his nephew. Well, just like he showed Terica Ellis in that hotel room a picture of Andre Montgomery, and it ended up being a small world. Okay? It ended up being a small world that day. So Terica ended up saying, "Oh, I know this young man. Yeah, he tries to talk to me all the time. I know him. Okay, well, get at him for me. I need to see him." Well, if you so-called looking for your nephew, you feel like your nephew is missing in action, you go and you file a police report. Nah, he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that because Tim wanted to teach Andre a lesson. So he says, and we don't even know what happened June 2015, who broke into the home. It could have been anyone. Like I said before, it could have been Tim himself. Just because he likes justifying things, just like he went through to justify everyone that he knew that's a part of this circle. Just like he justifies, why he wanted to get to his nephew and wanted to see him. I just wanted to talk. Well, you had every opportunity if your character is this genuine and you are really good to your family and the people around you. It should have been easy getting through to Andre. It shouldn't have took much. So it's just kind of strange how he does that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the outcome is going to be. He even had an excuse of why he had a burner phone. Well, because anything I didn't want to be on a TV show, I kind of carried on private affairs on a different phone. Yeah, I've always had 3, 4, 5 phones. We know. We seen the phone numbers too. We know. So he justifies everything, and that's what narcissists do. That's what liars do. That's what guilty people do, sneaky people do. And that's just what he is. So he knew that Andre was at the studio on Natural Bridge. He had everything set up. He had the entire place set up. He said, well, let's get in place today. And I just can't imagine doing something like that to anyone that I love or care about, especially over money or something materialistic or, something I feel like that can benefit me. It's not that serious. And you still ended up not even getting the insurance money. You still didn't get it. So you are really foolish, And I wish that Travell could have seen through that little chump change, because he gave him $5,000, which is nothing. He's probably seen that $5,000 a million times since 2016. And I wish he would have saw through it and done the right thing. I wish Terica could have saw through that little money and done the right thing. But greed is serious, especially to somebody that does not have anything. So clearly he picked out the weakest links. He wouldn't have never asked, no other person he's dealt with, let's say like Jennifer, he wouldn't have never asked her to do nothing like that. She would have laughed in his face. $5,000, $10,000, please. They would laugh at him. They would laugh right in his face. So, and then lastly, something that kind of made me raise an eyebrow. And it kind of, to me, it was kind of funny, because when Tim's defense had him on the stand, they asked him a couple questions. He talked about when Andre disappeared, and he said Andre, and I don't know why they allow him to say Andre was angry at his family for cutting him off. He can't say that because he doesn't know what Andre was. He assumed Andre was angry. So I'm not sure why they allowed that. But anywho, they asked him, when you were looking for him, basically, was the purpose to harm him? No. Did you still love him? Yes. And then after that, the court was interrupted by objections from the state's prosecution. They were like, no, objection. Because, they deemed them irrelevant. Those irrelevant questions at the end. And that speaks volumes that basically, hey, stop. Let's just get to the evidence. Enough of talking about your character. You are a sad, sad individual. Tim is so scared to go to prison. He's doing anything. He even fired his attorneys last night and then rehired them. He like, all right, come on, he's afraid. He's afraid of the consequences. He is the type of person that just does things to do them without any real recourse, just because he can, basically. That's what type of individual he thinks he is, but the Lord seen through that. And he placed it upon the detectives, the prosecution, now the jurors and the judge, to say, hey, let's figure this out. Let's see what we can do. Because it's very important that they get down to the bottom of it. Reason being is, if nobody stands up for Andre, if they didn't stand up for Andre, nobody would. His grandmother knew what was going on. She let this stuff happen. Not let it happen. I can't say that. That's too much, on her. But she knew that something was bound to happen. She knew that her grandson was in trouble. She knew that her son could potentially have something to do with it. So this case kind of brings me to a scripture, which is Romans 13, 1-5. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive this approval. He is God's servant for your good. But you do wrong and be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. So, upcoming are 2 video clips that I just pay attention to. I feel like in these clips, they were just forced to kind of talk about Andre on Welcome to Sweetie Pies. But really and truly, Grandma Arm M and Tim Montgomery had already knew what was up. They were just kind of forced to talk about it because that was what was supposed to be done. They were filming a show. So, they had to put on for the show. That's what acting is all about. So, it just speaks volumes on both of them. I just see right through Grandma and Tim. Neither one of them can be trusted, and neither one of them are they don't care, It's really sad. So I hope he gets what's coming to him if he did commit this crime. And I'm so ready for this case to wrap up so the discussions can begin without people saying allegedly. Take care. Have a good day. Watch the upcoming clips. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I am running a giveaway. So on the 16th, in 3 days, I will be giving out a $100 cash app straight to your cash app. I forgot to include on the first giveaway post that I made, so I'm going to make another one. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Drop your cash app below in the comments. It is greatly appreciated. And tell me what you think and what I can improve on. Have a good day.
I drove my mom through the park to the spot where Andre lost his life because I had not been there yet. I don't think Mom had been there either. We're still on the same street, basically, as my grandmother's house, Natural Bridge. So you can see Grandma's house right from here.
Uh-huh. Natural Bridge is the main street that goes from one end of the city to the next. Everything happens on Natural Bridge. All the crime, all the fast racing. This is it.
Yeah, that's it.
They say he came out and used the phone, so they had to shoot him right here on this porch.
We've lost a lot of family members here on this street. Andre, as of late, and then before Andre, my father. And in between that was Linda's son, Monique's brother, Aaron, who was like my brother. And it's all on this one street, a few blocks from each other. Right across from Grandma's house.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about it.
Since Andre's passing, I haven't gone through this part of the city. And really, I've been avoiding it.
I mean, it's like all up and down the street.
Yeah.
We must stop killing, but there's just signs. Oh, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm getting sick to my stomach just because these kids are killing each other before they have kids. Andre, my grandson, he was the last Montgomery.
I wish you'd reconsider coming out to California with me, or if you don't like California, pick a city and I'll go open a restaurant there, I just wish we can all be together. It's something inside me feel like I have to take the wheel to talk to my mom and to maybe moving out to California to guide everybody out of this situation.
I'm not gonna say no. I will consider, but I could come visit. I love St. Louis, even though all this stuff is happening. I know I can't do nothing about it. Just pray for strength.